Hello and welcome back to Norfolkfords. Today I am really quite nervous. It's a foggy morning, there is something arriving very shortly, and got butterflies about it. You know what I mean? It's trying to think how to describe it without giving it away. It's big. It was a big decision. A lot of thought went into it, a lot of research. It was either going to happen this year or the next. So if I was going to put money on it, it would have been next year. But opportunities come up, and sometimes you just got to get on with it, ain't you? So I think there's only so much that I can keep you guys in the dark. So here you go. Are we there yet?
No.
Are we there yet?
No.
Are we there yet?
No.
Well, here's the rain that we were trying to beat last night, but there's far too many hills around here, Dad. Where on earth are we?
We've gone up north, boy. We're a long way from home. It's only 8:30 and we've already done 100 miles. So hence why we were working late last night, trying to beat the rain, which we think we did. We'll tell you later whether we have. But we're now on a trip up to York. Why are we going to York, young man? Right. So we beat the rain last night.
Yep.
It's now raining on a wet day, on a wet Wednesday, and we're heading up north.
This is a skive again for us, but this is a professional skive.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, is that what you call it?
Yes, it's on purpose. We've had breakfast, and that was an expense, wasn't it?
Your expense, not mine.
Oh yeah, this is all for my benefit. This is a skive on my terms.
Yeah.
We're off to see a combine, aren't we? Well, actually, no.
Couple of three.
Couple of three, yeah.
So we're off up north to have a look at some machinery. Because the old boy has got deep pockets and long arms, and he might have reached the bottom of them. He'll be spending some money.
I don't know how I want to do that.
from what?
Well, away from the combine. They've just seen the photos.
Right.
Yeah.
Got a little video for it.
And you took a video, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
Of course, you know me.
Well, you guys know more than I do because you've already seen it. So we've got Scruffy and we've got Polish. Those are the two combines. And what do you think on both of them?
The scruffier one has been kept well. They've had rust spots on the bodywork, so they've rubbed them out and put a bit of red oxide on it, which is good in one respect, but does make it look scruffy. Had a problem with the sieves, and they've had new sieves put in, so that's a plus. But what was the problem? Probably the bearings or bushers on the agitation of the sieves might have been an issue. Yeah?
Yeah.
It started up, and it hadn't. Nobody had been to that combine before we got there, had they?
No.
So that started up pretty much on the button. It hardly turned over and she fired up.
Yeah.
So the engine, I would imagine, is fairly sweet.
I checked the oil as well because I was worried like I would dip the stick and that would be milky, or same like the other way around with the coolant. So we've had a look around that. That seems all right.
Yeah. That has got grey monitor in it as well.
Yes, that's an additional kit that was inside the cab. Did you get a photo of that?
I don't think I did actually, but that's an RDS meter, isn't there? But I suspect that'll be like most things of its age, need a bit of love, a bit of bad connections, and a few little things sorted out on it.
But it might work and it may be useful, especially since we've also got the top con wire attached to the trailer this year,
Yeah.
haven't we?
So that-
that could go hand in hand.
Yeah. What else can I say about it? Overall it was a little bit scruffy. Nothing wrong with it, but there wasn't anything I could complain about really.
Yeah.
The cab was tidy.
Yeah, the cab was tidy. No smoking, no mice, you couldn't smell anything like that.
No.
Aircon worked as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, Pat, we don't need it.
At the moment, I wouldn't say that too
Yeah,
much.
we'll never say never. We'll see you soon, Pat.
Yeah. The other one, the cab was a bit scruffy, wasn't it? The seats were ripped.
I don't know if somebody sat on it with like a button or something and
No,
ripped
that
it
was
or-
worn. That was worn, sort of.
Yeah,
It wasn't a rip, was it? It was sort of worn thin, weren't it? But
it wasn't very good. That was quite disappointing to see because from the outside, looking as you stand on the floor, it does look a very well polished bit of kit, or
yeah,
it looks well washed. It's lived inside. It's whereas with the scruffier one, that had spent some time outside, even if it was just at an auction or something. Wasn't
Yeah.
it? But the polished one I found issue with was when I looked in the back end, the sieves looked quite a bit banged about, like they've had something go over it,
yeah,
which I thought was quite disappointing.
yeah.
You'd spend an afternoon to straighten it, but would it be right, would be my worry. I've done it before with John Deere's, don't get me wrong, it can be done, but is it the right move? I've seen second hand might be new, parts available such as a whole sieve, you're looking about 1,200 quid to replace. So yeah, and the more polished one was the more expensive machine as well, with more hours.
Yeah. And that's got an electrical issue.
And we couldn't really see what could be causing it while we were there. I think you'd lose a couple of afternoons to that quite easily because it comes up on the corner post display, hydro, which
then worries me a bit. What does that mean?
yeah, well, what does it mean? Is it going to be a sensor, or is it going to be something deeper?
Could be expensive.
It could be expensive, so
I wouldn't expect it to be, but I bet there is that chance it could be.
yeah.
So,
Both machines, though, if you were desperate, you'd put them to work straight away, wouldn't you?
you wouldn't take too much to get them both working though.
No, exactly.
So overall, I think they're two decent machines for the money, high output, and I think they can be quite cheap to run because there's not that many moving parts in the axle flow. Hence why people love them.
Yeah.
And for what you want, probably could be a good buy because of the low running costs and also being a cheaper machine with high output. You could combine when you needed to, not when you had to. Therefore, you won't combine wet stuff because you can wait an hour and get all of it in an hour later.
Yeah.
overall, I think leaning slightly towards the scruffier one, because mechanically I think it was probably that little bit better.
Well, electrically as well. I'll be
Yeah.
perfectly honest. Initially, looking at it, the more polished one did look the better machine. But when you look beneath that surface, that's when you've got the bent sieves, the ripped seats, the electrical issues. We couldn't get the reverser to work on the header either.
No.
So there's already, you know, if that's because that's run by a starter motor, if that's a new starter motor needed, well, there's 300 quid gone easily, couldn't it be?
Yeah.
So with those bits in mind, you know, you don't really know where that might stop. Whereas with Scruffy, you could see that it needed this pulley changed and this pulley needed a bush. You can see them, you can visualise them, and it needed a new knife. The headers, we looked at the headers, didn't we?
Yeah, it wasn't much split between the two of them. Really.
No, not really. They were both headers that had a couple of knocks here and there. The real bars were a bit bent, but you can soon take them off and straighten them. They're not a problem.
Yeah.
But I'd say Scruffy's got the vote at the minute.
Yeah, I think so, probably.
Yeah. I think we're going to sit
I'll
over.
have to chew on it and do a bit of research on it.
Chew on it. We've already had a few phone calls on parts inquiries, just sort of scoping out what repairs might be needed to either one.
So, it's been a few minutes. Simon's just rang me. He's heading out on the sprayer, and he's just passed it in the village. Pacing like a dog on heat right now. Absolutely excited. There it comes. There it comes. So it's raining right now, but I'm excited. The lorry's just left. I still want to have a look right now. So you guys, you get to be nice and dry wherever you are, and I'm going to be a tit who's overexcited he's bought a combine. So me and Dad have been looking at this for a good couple of months now. I think sort of just after Christmas, sort of January time, we started thinking about it as something that we possibly need to do. When we took on the tenancy, or when I took on the tenancy, it was something that was likely to happen. I thought if it didn't happen this year, it would likely be next year. And if I was going to put money on it, I'd have said next year would have been the year to have gotten a combine. But with adverse weather conditions, this is the climate we live in now. Having my own control over my harvest is going to be incredibly valuable to me. I've got winter barley, I've got winter wheat, I've got spring barley. You know, we may even do beans another year. Probably not oilseed rape because everybody is running away from that one. But you know what I mean? Suddenly we've got 3 different times for Philip to be running over. So Philip is aware that this is something that's going to happen. He hasn't seen this yet, but he will be coming over this week to have a look in person before this video goes up. So Philip, I'm ever so pleased with what we've done over the past 3 years. I hope you're really happy with what we've got in front of us now. So it just lined up this year to make sense. So it's been an incredibly wet winter, which made me a bit nervous, thinking, is the summer going to be the same? Well, is it the same? Don't know yet. Make me think we could be right though. But for what that would cost me to have Philip, my contractor, come in, this is definitely a little bit more expensive on the repayments. I've got a nice little loan, good terms, all that sort of stuff. Done my research, it's all very sensible. I'm paying a little bit more than what my contractor was, but at the end of 5 years, I will have an asset. There's obviously expenses into that, like spare parts, Insurance was better than on this than I was expecting. I was thinking, God, insurance is going to be like £1,000 or something. 200 quid for a combine. Could believe it. Clear insurance. I love them. Anyway, let's actually get in the cab and have a look. Now, what do you reckon? Quite a nice, decent sized cab. So, this is a 1996 case axle flow 2188. So, for the 90s, she was a big combine. So, this is where we start really getting armrests come in for your controls, and everything is relatively at fingertips. And when we went all the way up to York for this. We tried all the buttons, all the switches, everything works. What's nice about this as well, presumably the first owner of this, put in this yield monitoring kit. So I think if I look in here, one of these was a manual for it, if I remember correctly. But I'll have a sift through that another time. Oh, can't even shut that properly. Go on. And we'll work out how to get that working. Because I've also got some Topcon TT wires, is what they're called, for the trailer. So if we can get this working with the trailer weighing, it's not a weigh cell, it's a hydraulic inline pressure wire, which are within 10% accurate. So, you know, we get that working with this, we could have a really good idea of how well we're harvesting. Because you've got all the... Oh, this is moisture as well. Oh, look at that. Oh, I need to find a manual. It is a Sinar. Whatever that. No, these are two different things, aren't they? Yeah, this is a Sinar, and this is a Ceres. I can't say these weird words. Oh. Anyway, we're a corner post display, as is most combines, and everything's there. We've got gear stick and 1, 2, 3 gears, nice and easy. And this is quite funny. I was working with a neighbour who's recently bought a combine, quite a newish one, very nice, very fancy, and he showed me it. And I, you know, ever so pleased for him, lovely combine. And we were talking about combines, and he says, "Oh, I'm told you've got a combine." I said, "Yeah, yours has got loads of buttons. Mine's still got a pull stop." That's the pull stop. And then we've got notches. So that is a cable. And that just runs in notches, which is good. Because I was a little bit worried when I see pictures of these being a throttle. And I just assumed it'd be a cable. And that'd probably vibrate back. But no, this is on notches, which is good. A nice, easy to find pull stop. So you've got all the controls here. It looks like we've got the option for a side knife on the header, which is good. So I'll have to have a look at that another day. Now, we've got the handbrake here, which I'm really not convinced works, because it just doesn't feel like it's connected. But I could be wrong. We'll have to see. So we've got all these lovely controls. I'm just really excited. Let's stop waffling. Let's start it up. We have got a clutch, but I think that's more for the gearbox. Half a turn. She's away. This is something that I'm going to have to fix. So you're meant to be on a pedal there, but it feels like I've got some linkage out. So I'll try and have a look under the cab. Maybe I'll see it there, but we shall see. Right, let's just put her into the next notch, and that will take away the voltage reading. Got voltage there. Got a little bit of diesel just to have a play, and there's temperature gauge. I guess the park brake must be working then, because I've got a light on. Off she goes. And then everything is displayed up here. If I want the hours, there we go. She's done 3,500 engine hours. I think she's had a half decent working life, really. You know, I think she spent a lot of time out in the rain as well, which is a shame, because if you look at the paintwork outside, she is a little bit patchy. It looks like somebody's patched it up with red oxide though, so we will be amending that at some point. But I've already confused myself. So you look here, Up is down and down is up. Same here. So I've got to get used to that. I just realised I got a free pair of sunglasses for this bad boy. God, the headliner needs a little bit of a wash, there's a bit of chaff. But apart from that, it's a fairly clean combine. I like it. Let's go for a spin. Oh, I was talking about the joystick, weren't I? So up is down and down is up. So if you look here, I'm pushing forward and then she's going down. At least they didn't reverse left and right, that would have been silly. Oh. Dunno, might have to check about for play for that. Just seems to spring one way or the other, doesn't it? I don't know if that's normal or not. We'll have a look. Anyway, let's go forward. Ooh, she's biggin'.
Full fast ahead. Let's go.
Cool, just put the unloading auger out. Look at that. That's the one thing that we couldn't test in the shed. We got everything else running up, but yeah, in the shed we couldn't get it out, so it's quite nice. It's on a proper little click switch, so you can click it in and that'll come in by itself, so I ain't got to worry too hard. Look at that! I am far too excited. Click her off. I love it. It's pouring rain and I love it. I've changed my mind actually. I'm going to put her in the shed. That's the grain tank. That is not good. There's only tin covers, so it's going to happen. Let's put her in the shed. Right, for those of you who have watched the Cool, you may know that I collect a few tractor brochures. So with the combine coming, of course, I was going to have to find one. Very easy to find. Literally straight on eBay, there it was. I think I paid £5 for it. And this one, dated 1996, so that's very good for my combine because she is a 1996. So we'll just have a quick flick through here. I won't bore you with the details, but that is the reason I'm showing you this. This is how the combine works. So I believe it was the Case axle flows back in the 1970s that first brought out the single bullet rotor. Copied some years later by John Deere. Used to work at John Deere's, so I'm very familiar with this design. As I walked around the combine when I first looked at it, all I could think to myself was, this is an S690. And yeah, just made me very excited thinking that this is something that I actually know a little bit about. So, header at the front, we've got 20 footer, up the feeder house, into the bullet. Once it goes through the bullet, you've got all that contact area because it's like a corkscrew. So we've got the separation, like the early separation and the late separation. Augers then feed it over to the sieves. Standard sieve setup for every combine. And then this is the interesting part. This is where it's different to the John Deere's. The John Deere would have here a paddle, which would then chuck it into the chopper about here. This chopper chucks it straight out the back. So this is currently in chop, which means you're on the high speed setting and you'll have stationary blades in, and then you will just shoot it straight out. This entire back bit here is hollow, and that is literally just going bang straight out, hitting the straw spinners and just flicking it out the back of the combine. You can drop straw, and surprisingly enough there are some straw merchants locally here who do run one of these combines, because you look at that and you think, well, you must be ruining your straw. Well, if they run it, it can't be too bad, because you put that onto the lower speed, you then put the stationary blades out, remove the spinner, and then that'll just chuck whole straw, bang, into a fairly tight row, I've been told. So that will be exciting to have a look at. So then you get some lovely pictures here and here and here. And I really like that one. We'll have to try and recreate that with the TM. Recreate that picture. But yeah, very exciting. I know the brochures are a little bit of a niche, but look at that. There's it dropping straw. Just tells you, there's the stationary blades as well. So they have two positions and then you can pull it out the side. So you see what I mean. You can learn a lot from these old brochures. It's worth just having a flick through, especially if you own a piece of equipment. So there's your service panels and all that. Right.